Welcome, everyone, to episode 25 of Dial the Gate. We've made it to one of my favorite numbers. I'm David Reed. Hope you're having a great weekend. I have a friend of mine in the wings here, someone I consider to be very special, Mr. Jay Acovone. He's going to be joining us in just a moment here. We're going to be talking about some of his personal heroes, how he got started in this industry, and a little bit about share a couple of Stargate stories, definitely. So that's what the plan is right now for today. We're going to be bringing him in just a minute. And then afterwards, I've got some Kawalsky Stargate art to show you. And then I will be revealing who is going to be coming in next week, as well as for the rest of the day. But before we get started here, if you like Stargate and want to see more content like this on YouTube, it would mean a great deal if you click that like button. It really makes a difference with YouTube's algorithm and will definitely help the show grow its audience. Please also consider sharing this video with a Stargate friend. And if you want to get notified about future episodes, click the subscribe icon. Giving the bell icon a click will notify you the moment a new video drops, and you'll get my notifications of any last-minute guest changes. This is key if you plan on watching live. And clips from this live stream will be released over the course of the next several days and weeks on both the Dial the Gate and gateworld.net YouTube channels. Without further ado, the man of the hour, he's taking a drink, Jay Acovone.
Hi, everybody. How's it going, David? Nice to be with you again.
My friend, it is good to be with you. You and I bumped into each other in Anaheim, I think, in 2010. And, I was telling you about I was working at PropWorks at the time, selling off the Stargate assets. And I said, you know what? I would love to interview you. And you were like, you know what? Here's my cell phone number. And I had never... that had never happened to me before with an actor. And you have been so good over the past several years. Every time I call you, you want to do something? All right, let's do it. That's fine. All right.
I stand out in the street with anybody want my cell phone number? Because nobody calls me.
How is it, looking back on this journey that started in 97, that you are still being called upon, at least by me, to participate in this fantastical world that Brad and Rob and Jonathan created that, is still being reborn, like I just said, coming on Netflix to this day?
Well, here's the thing, and I can only speak for myself, that when you're involved in something, when you get hired to do a job as an actor, nobody anticipates it's going to have legs like this. Nobody anticipates that it will be what's the word when something has long legs and it just keeps going and going and going. A cult following. But this is, I think, larger than a cult. This is sci-fi really at its best, and people really seem to like it. And I'm very happy that the show has gone on as long as it has, and people are now beginning to watch it again, and even the younger kids are liking it and watching it. And there you go. I hope I've answered your question.
No, absolutely. It is. Brad Wright called it an evergreen series. It continues to get reinterpreted across generations, and there's something to be said for a piece of entertainment that continually gets renewed and rediscovered, and in some cases, based on the episode that we're talking about, reinterpreted based on the audience that's watching it.
Yeah, but because the younger generation, as I said, now is watching it, and the people my age that used to watch it, they still watch it. And I honestly have not seen an episode of the show in a long time, but which means nothing, because my taste in television, I watch mostly documentaries because that's what I really like. And as a lot of people know, that I'm a race car fan, so anything with a motor on it, I'm completely attracted to.
Jay, what made you fall in? Before I go there, okay. I'd like to know a little bit about who you were as a young person and how it set your course toward your lifelong dream and profession.
Well, we had a tough break. First of all, I have a brother and a sister. I'm the baby. I'm 65 now. Some baby. The baby is bald and old. But anyway, I'm 65. My sister now is 70, and I have a brother who's 73. And it's Peter and Diane, and then Jay. And then we had a tough break in 58, and that's 1958. My father passed away.
Oh God!
When he was 36, and I was 3. My sister was, I'm gonna guess, I have to do these numbers in my head, but I was 3. My sister, I think, was 7 or 8, and my brother was like 11. And so we were. I don't want to give you the poor mouth story. We were never poor, but my mother had to work. And then we had to work as we got older. Mm-hmm. We had to work right away. And, it's a small town in New York State. It's in Putnam County, New York, just above Westchester. It's a town called Mahopac. Hi to all my Mahopackians. Well, what happened was I started to get an interest in cars and motorcycles. I had an interest in cars and motorcycles from the time I was a youngster. And I think my mother would have done anything to keep us out of trouble, as any parent would, to keep you out of trouble, off drugs, off the streets. And so I wasn't a great big fan of ball sports like, football, basketball, baseball. So on Saturday nights, we used to go to the stock car races. And it grew from there. The car thing grew from there. And then I was working in a gas station, and this fella, I was probably 15 or 16 at this time, a kid named John Miller, who I went to high school with. So I was out of high school by this time. I was probably 18, and I was working in a mobile station, and John had come in. And he said, "Hey, what's going on? How you been? Blah, blah, blah." And we're just talking. And he used to play the guitar and sing. And he told me he was gigging in a couple of local clubs down in Westchester and in Putnam and up in Dutchess. And he said, "And I'm doing a play." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We're putting on a play in a local theater. It's in Yorktown Heights, New York. And, which is a town right close to Mahopac." And, of course, I knew nothing about theater or acting or anything, And he said, "You should come down and try out for it. You should come down and audition." And I said, "Oh, yeah, no, that's all right. But thanks. Maybe I'll come and see you in it, but I have no interest in that." So 2 days later, I'm at the gas station and the phone rings. It's him. And he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "What do you mean? I'm at work." And he says, No, you need to come down and meet the director and read for him. They were doing, oh God, I'll never remember the name of the play. I'll think of it in a moment. It's a Henry Fonda movie in the Navy. Okay. But anyway, I went down there and I read for the director and I got the part. So what the part guaranteed was I was the shore patrolman who comes and gets the goat back, the captain's goat from the drunk sailors. And we used a live goat on stage every night. And of course, the goat would do strange things all the time. And it was a guaranteed laughter every night. And I said, "This is it. This is really cool. People laugh with you, maybe at you. I don't know." It was Mr. Roberts was the name of the play.
Okay.
Mr. Roberts. And so my mother came to see the play, and in the playbook, the guys were asking me, "What do you want to put in there? What do you want to put in?" Oh, I said, just put down my name is Jay Acovone, which is my actual last name.
Okay.
And I just said, put down that I work in the local mobile station and whatever. And they said, "Oh, no, it's got to pertain to theater. It has to, I said, "I don't know. Put down that I intend to attend some school." And they said, "The American Academy of Dramatic Arts sounds bitchin' on paper." And I said, "Great. Put down that I intend to attend the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in the fall." So they did. And my mom read this when she came to see the play. And she said, "What's this?" And I said, "Oh, no, that's baloney. That's, they just put it in there." She said, "Well, if you want to go, I'll pay for it." And I said, I left skid marks out of town, and that was it. So I got down to the city. I had to try out for the audition for the school, and then I got into the American Academy, and then I went to the Strasberg Institute, and then along the way I had a few little jobs. I did a few extra jobs first, and then I did like what we call under fives, like under 5 lines in soap operas. So I think it was One Life to Live, and then definitely All My Children. And then I had my real big break, which got me into Screen Actors Guild. And that was Cruising, the movie Cruising with Al Pacino. Yeah. And there's a story that goes along with that too. So.
Well, go ahead and tell it, my friend. I want to hear it.
Well,
when you line it up like that, I'm sorry.
Well, just I teed it up for you, didn't I? One of my big inspirations to be an actor is Al Pacino. I was sitting in the movie theater in I think 1972 or 3, probably 3, and I was watching this movie with this fella where it was about a bank robbery that takes place, and I was sitting with my friend Rick Leonard, and we get about halfway through the movie, and I said, "You know what? I think I could do this." And he says, "What do you mean, rob banks?" I said, "No, you idiot. I think I could do what this fella is doing on screen." And so he said, "Yeah, sure." So the credits were rolling at the end of the film, and I just sat there, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm going to watch it again because this is great. And watching this guy is unbelievable to me. So Al Pacino was a big, definitely a big influence on my, not necessarily on my life, but certainly on my acting life. I've seen everything he's ever done, and I followed him, and I really.
So this profession was already rattling around inside your head long before you got hired at the gas station.
A kind of. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did your friend who invited you to the audition know this story?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. John Miller. His name is John Miller. He's a lovely guy. Lovely guy. I haven't seen him in many, many years, but yeah.
Well, it's the people who come into our lives. We can never truly know the ripples that they cause on us and on the people around us. And maybe, you certainly were in the right place at the right time for that first audition. They say that timing is everything. A lot of, timing's everything. Absolutely.
It really is. Right time, right place.
Jay, who are your professional heroes, but also who are your personal heroes? Who are the people who helped to shape you and to the person you've become?
Oh, my mother, definitely. And my brother and sister. My brother and sister and I are very close. And of course, my mom was my hero. She died a few years back. She lived to be 94. She was just shy of her 95th birthday when she passed away. And so she was a huge hero of mine. And I had an uncle on her side of the family, Uncle Leo Hayes. And I used to call him for advice and talk to him an awful lot for just advice in life, not necessarily on acting or anything like that. Just, he was like a father figure for me. Absolutely. And I had several uncles that I would call on the phone and talk to, and so my personal hero, I guess my biggest hero, my mom, as far as my life goes, and how it affected me, and how I still hear her voice in my ears sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to agree. And so when you, no, seriously,
I just got a little. You don't think of those things too much, and then all of a sudden, when you start talking about them, it puts a frog in your throat.
No, absolutely. How was it working with Pacino? After idolizing him from
Well,
his earlier works.
it was just, I had seen, as you know, as I just told you, I had seen him in '73 in Dog Day Afternoon in the movie theater. And in '79, I was working with him. So, America's a great country. What are you going to say? Yeah, I got a great break with that. And that was the director, William Friedkin, the producer, Jerry Weintraub, and Al, of course, and then the casting director, Lou DiGiamo. And so these are people that were very kind to me indeed, because I had absolutely no experience. I was an extra. I did a couple of under fives on soap operas, and here I am working with an international film star because, he'd already done Dog Day Afternoon, I don't know whether he did Serpico. Oh yeah, Dog Day Afternoon. I think
he had done Serpico at that point, yeah.
Godfathers, both of them, so here I was working with this fella. So it was pretty big for me, pretty big. And it got me into SAG, which is now after SAG or SAG after. So that was a big deal.
Did you see Stargate in the theater?
The movie?
The feature film?
Yes. In fact, there's a story that goes with that too. When I was working with Al Pacino in '79, do you know who his personal driver was?
I don't. I was gonna.
Dean Devlin.
Dean Devlin was his driver.
Dean Devlin was Al Pacino's driver on that movie, and so I've known Dean for I got it 35, 40 years, whatever it is. Yeah,
because you were in Independence Day. Yeah,
that's correct.
Did you see that? That's one of my best. That's one of my favorite characters. I can't let you pass without clearance. You want to see my clearance?
Yeah, I'll give you clearance.
So you went and saw the movie knowing that this was his project.
Do that again. Say
did you go and see Stargate knowing that it was his film?
Well, I knew Dean. I'm thinking. No, I think I went just as a fan, and I went to the theater and saw it. I don't think I went to any screening or anything like that.
Okay. What was
I thought it was very good. It was Kurt Russell and James Spader, and yeah, I remember it, and yeah, it was great. It was a good movie.
Did you think at all that it could spawn a franchise of 3 television series and 400 episodes?
Never.
Did it give you any sense that it had legs? The storytelling device?
Not those kind of legs. No.
Right.
I had a feeling it was good enough to make, part 2, but I never anticipated that they'd ever make a hit television series of it. No.
Wow. And so tell us the story of how you got involved in SG-1.
My then manager was called by Mary Jo Slater. That would be the mother of Christian Slater, right? And she was the casting director on the job on Stargate. And she said, we'd like Jay to come down and read for this thing. And they sent me up the sides, pages, and I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'll go in for this. This looks fun. Looks, the beauty of sci-fi is that when you read it, sometimes it could be like, oh my God, this is far-fetched. Yeah. It's far-fetched. But if you commit to it, if you make it part of your world, if you really commit to it, make it real for everyone. And that's the hard part of sci-fi, right? That's the really hard part of sci-fi. And I've grown to enjoy that part of it, where you read it and you go, how the hell is this going to work? And then, but if you bring it in internally and then, make yourself part of that world, it just works. And if the writing is good, of course, the writing has to be good. And in my case, with Jonathan and Brad, and they did a great job. They did a great job.
This was a character that I believe it was John Deal played in the feature film. Did you go back and have a look at the feature film again before?
I did not. I didn't do that. No. but
Okay. Is that
probably wouldn't have been a bad idea.
is that well? I'm curious about that. You know, I intend to ask people like Tori Higginson when she was replacing Jessica Steen for a role. You know, is that a personal acting choice to not examine someone else's work so that you have your own fresh interpretation?
I don't like to, but I think to each his own. Especially, I think in a case where you're replacing someone. I don't think it's good to. What you want is all the background and the history that has already occurred, so that you have all that background and history, and you can create a back life of things that have happened. But I don't think for me, it's not good to watch another actor and then try to copy it. It just doesn't work for me.
So you did not audition for Children of the Gods; they offered it to you.
Was Children of the Gods the pilot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I auditioned for that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I had to go in and win that role. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I auditioned for that. I got that, and once I got the pilot, then we did the pilot, and then the first episode after the pilot is called.
That's called The Enemy Within.
The Enemy Within.
Now you're testing me.
I didn't have to audition for that.
Well, no, right.
We just rolled right into that. So that was kind of nice.
Did you know when you auditioned for the pilot that they were going to knock you off in episode 2?
I knew I wasn't going to be part of the fire team. That I knew, and they were very honest with me up front. You know that the scripts were already written, and it was written that Charlie Kawalsky expires in the second episode, or in the episode after the pilot. So, and it was explained to me that, we can't go back now and rewrite because it would mean getting network approval for all these other scripts. And they said, we're just simply not going to do that. So
were they considering a rewrite to make you a part of the fire team?
I don't think so.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I just, it would have been nice, but no.
Enemy Within is such a wonderful, it really is in many respects a part 2 to Children of the Gods, because we find out just how powerful these forces are, how powerful the species is that takes over people, and we lose a cherished character real quickly. So it sets the stage for some real trouble. And that is largely attributed to your performance, sir, in that episode. It's a really solid performance.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's one of the better episodes of television that has ever been written for me, and I appreciate you saying that. Thanks.
Was it a struggle to be strapped to that table for hours and hours a day?
Well, I was strapped to it, I can tell you that. They strapped me down pretty good. As I remember, please help me remember, because it's been a lot of years. Who directed that? Was that Mario as a party, or was that
directed The Enemy Within?
No, it was the French guy. It was he was a French fella.
Let's see.
Very nice guy.
Dennis Barry. Dennis Barry.
Dennis Barry. Yeah. Denis Barry. Yes. Yeah. He did. No, he did a great job. He did a great job with that. And I don't know whether they ever had him back. Did they ever have him back again? Did he direct more episodes?
It's really easy.
I have no idea.
Really easy to check. He came back. He was right there for First Commandment in the first season of the show as well. He did too. So, what was it like acting with the great Don S. Davis?
Miss Don. He was a prankster, a joker, and when the director said action, he was all business, and he never missed a beat. I got to tell you, the guy was a solid as a rock actor, just terrific. But off camera, when the cameras are at rest and everybody, we're in between scenes, I'd say that he and Chris Judge were some of the funniest people I've ever worked with in my life. They are definitely pranksters and fun to be with.
You, I was on the phone with you about 2 or 3 years ago. This is after we had shot for Dialing Home, and I was contacting you about I think for like approvals for a clip or something.
Okay.
And you asked me, are you still in touch with Chris? And I said, yes. And you said, please tell him I love him. And that really struck a chord with me, how close all of you were, and how, that's just not the case for every film and TV set.
You're absolutely right. It's not the case for most things. Look, I had a great time, between Richard and Michael and Amanda and just everybody, Christopher. They were all just lovely people. And we suffered what is it called? The GVRD together, which is
Greater Vancouver Regional District, Recreational District. Yeah, that huge
the recreational
area.
district with pouring rain, freezing cold days. And we were all, I don't want to say miserable, but I do. I will say miserable. They were miserable times.
Oh my
because,
God.
You're soaked through. Your clothes are just soaked through, and you're cold. And somehow, some way, we managed to laugh about it and just carry on. And they're great people. And I still speak to I don't speak to Richard that much. I see Richard once in a great while at a con or something. But Christopher, I still speak to on the phone, and sometimes Michael. Amanda, I see it. Things at different events and things like that, and I see she's doing extremely well and
better than ever.
All of her good stuff that's happening to her. She's a lovely woman.
She is doing exactly what she always wanted to do. She always wanted to be a director, and now, as far as I am aware, she is one of the most sought after directors in Canada. So
isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
It couldn't happen to a better person.
You're right.
To a nicer person. Yeah. And yeah, she's given off good vibes. Everyone that I hear that's talked with her has said they have nothing to complain about with her work. She is fantastic.
She's pretty doggone easy to work with, I got to tell you. She's just she's up for everything all the time. She's just fun.
She absolutely.
Let's shoot it.
You were brought back for several guest performances over the course of the years. Was it always a surprise to be called back?
It was always pleasant. And whenever they called, I just said, make it. I'd say to my agents, managers, if I was busy, I said, make it happen. I want to go. Let's go. Make it happen. Because you knew you were going to have a good time. First of all, you're going to be in Canada, in Vancouver, which is a great city to be in.
Regardless of the rain.
Regardless of the rain. And then you're going to be working with wonderful people. So, there's no gripe. There's no problems. It's let's go. And you're going to make money. You're going to make money acting. What's better than that?
Well, exactly right. And if you enjoy the people that you get to work with, why would you pass up a single opportunity for that? Because it may never come again. Life is fleeting that way. So.
Doggone right, pal. Doggone right.
I have a few fans waiting on YouTube chat with questions for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to share them. So R. Radev says, would Jay mind telling us a moment he had on set when they laughed really hard at a funny joke? If anything, now everyone, please understand this has been years and years.
It's been 35 years,
yeah.
But okay. So
if anything pops in,
has it been 35 or 30? I'm not even certain.
It hasn't been 30 years. It was 97, so it was 23. But still,
23 years ago. Okay.
Where did I pull that?
So, funny story. Okay, making the pilot. Making the pilot. We were out in the GBRD. And they're setting these charges in the ground, and they're setting. No. Now, when they set these charges, they're in a cylindrical tube, right? And they put the explosive in, and then on top of the explosive, I don't know what they use. They use schmutz, or they use peat moss, or something that's a very light. So if anybody gets hit with it, it's not going to really hurt them. Well, I had to come over this hill and shoot this gun, and they wanted me to be right in front of this cannon when it goes off. And so they yell action. I come up and I'm shooting like this, and I'm right over it. I'm right over this cannon. the cannon goes off, and it's just like dirt in my face, and everything went black, and I thought, I'm blind. and of course I fell down, and I said, oh my God, I'm blind. And it wasn't funny, but it's funny now. Yeah. It wasn't funny then. And of course, everybody made fun of me for the duration of the shoot.
I'm blind.
Like, I'm blind. You know.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's just silly things like that happen, and you know, looking in retrospect, it's funny now. But there's a lot of stuff that went on, and there's a lot of stuff. You know, some of the greatest stuff happens when the camera's off. It's true. Yeah.
A big part of Stargate is the explosions, you know, and I always wondered, you know, what process goes into that. When the Death Gliders are firing, you know, they put bags of gasoline into the ground, and they just charge them at sequence as if there's a glider flying over. But you know, when you got ground ordnance going off, they have to make it look like, you know, it's been buried in the earth. So they have to have all kinds of debris to throw up at you. So.
Yeah, and let me just say the what do they call them? Explosive experts on the set, the guys doing all the pyros. They were terrific. It's just I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
God, you know? So you didn't know you were right in front of it.
Oh no, I think that's the important part of the story that I left out. I did not hit my mark properly. Okay. I overstepped my mark, and you know, the cannon was basically in my mouth, and they, you know, and whatever, it went off, and that's the way it goes. But it was all good. It was fine, and a funny story comes out of it. So
God,
it's worth it.
Had to make it work, man. Burned Bacchus. How were you and Christopher cast in Mentalist? How did that come about, or was that just a happenstance?
That was just a job. That was exactly right. I didn't know I was going to be working with Christopher until the night before I got the call sheet, and it said Christopher Judge, and I was like, woohoo! Look at this, man! How do you like this? And so I didn't call him. I waited until the next day, you know, and because I saw we were both in the same time, and so so it worked out nice, and we had a scene together, right? He and I and Simon. We all had so it was good. It was great to see him, and as always, we had a great time.
Well, that's the thing. You and Christopher said the last time we met that the lead actor was probably not too thrilled with how the whole situation managed to happen. But you know, when you get two friends together who haven't seen each other in a while, I mean, they probably didn't know that.
What's his Simon? Tell me his name. Lovely actor. I forget his name. What is he? Australian or English?
Simon Baker. Yeah, he's Simon Australian. Baker.
Yeah, and you know, he did say, you guys know each other?
No, we just automatically get along like a house on fire.
Yeah, right, like a house on fire immediately. No, it was great, and it was great to see him. And it was great to do the show.
Teresa McAllister. Jay, would you go through the Stargate if you had the chance?
I've been asked that question before, and you know what? If I knew it was safe on the other side.
The world has been explored over there.
Yeah. Let's make sure there's no, you know. I think I would. Yeah.
Where
look, we got people right now wanting to go to Mars and, you know, go and investigate this. The fellow who owns Tesla, what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, he wants to go, man. Let's go.
He wants to die on Mars. Absolutely.
I know, and I think it's kind of cool. It's like, you know, he has much larger aspirations than I have. You know, I'm looking for the bathroom, but but I think it's really cool that people want to go and investigate these things and find new ways of life and new worlds and all of that. I think it's brings sci-fi a little closer.
Do you think that intelligent life exists out there?
I think it would be. I think it would be naive to think that we're alone. I do. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think about it every day. I don't talk about it every day, but I think it would definitely be naive to think that we're alone. I mean, think about the scope of everything. And yeah.
Jodie Foster's character in Contact says, if it is just us, it's a pretty big waste of space.
Gee, you think? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, yes, I believe that there is other forms of life. Absolutely.
Jeremy wants to know, as someone who loves motors and cars, I'm curious about your feelings on the instant torque and speeds of electric cars like the Tesla.
Okay, my buddy just bought a Tesla, or just actually leased a Tesla.
Okay.
And I went for a ride in it, Jeremy, and I must tell you that it's a torque monster. We were coming up. I was upstate California. We were in Lafayette, California, and we were coming out onto, I think, the 24. And he said, "Watch this." Now, I'd never been in one of these cars before. I'd never been in an electric car before. I've been in a hybrid, but not a full electric car. And he nailed the throttle. Holy cow. Yeah. I mean, the torque in this thing, and we were going 90 like that. We were probably going 27, 30 miles an hour on the ramp to get on the freeway. He nailed the throttle, and we were up to 90 in a lot less than a quarter mile. I can tell you that. So yeah, it's pretty impressive what they've done, or what they're doing with the torque on these electric cars. It's crazy.
The advancement with this technology is just extraordinary. And some people are saying, well, the battery, it's not developing fast enough, but I think we are getting there.
I think it's the infrastructure too.
Right.
Having the superchargers all where you need them.
Right. Exactly.
I watched a really cool documentary. I don't know how many of y'all are into watching documentaries about motors and things, but I just watched The Long Way Up, which is Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman.
Oh, that's his motorcycle. Yeah.
They take electric motorcycles made by Harley Davidson. They're one-offs, and they were prototypes at the time. They went from the tip of South America and came into Los Angeles, and they went through all those countries, and it was all about the trials and tribulations of charging the bikes, and where are they going to do it, and how they're going to do it, and everything else. And they had a couple of chase trucks, which were also electric, made by a company out in Minnesota. It's a really cool thing, and there's like 11 episodes, so I pushed that on you. Go and see it.
Well,
I loved it.
My dad's a huge Engine fan, so we will definitely be watching this fall when he comes out. So thank you. The Long Way Up. So anyone who's out there who digs vehicle mechanics, that technology is up and coming. So I think it's worth watching one way or the other.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It's the future. It is the future. I don't know whether gasoline is going to be gone. Certainly not in my lifetime. But it's going to go away. It's going to go away.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Mark 8600. Did you watch any of Stargate outside of the episodes that you were in? Did you ever follow it?
I don't think so. No, I'm just being honest. I don't think I did. No. Okay. So,
hey, it's a job,
Sorry,
you love the people you work with, but I am always I don't know. I used to be surprised. I'm not surprised anymore at the number of actors who don't really watch that much consumer television. It's their day job. Why necessarily would they want to come home and do that for dinner? So,
well, I'm married to a TV baby. My wife watches television like remote in hand, like this. and you try to get her attention, and it's like, baby.
Oh my God, I'm here. What's she like to watch?
Well, I watch it with her because it's The Crown. We watched The Crown. We were addicted to a couple of shows that I really liked. There was a show called Banshee years back. Loved that. Hell on Wheels, another good show.
Yep.
Let me see what else.
Is Hell on Wheels the train show?
Recently, The Crown. I love what's the one with the the couple, a very pretty couple. Is it Outlander? Is it Claire and Jamie?
Is that
Claire
the time travel one? That's
yes.
That's Outlander.
That one.
That's
Good
correct.
One. Yeah, I like that a lot. Good one.
My parents are big into Deadliest Catch. They love all the live.
Catching fish and all that, and the big
king crab in Alaska. So
in the
dangerous
cold
profession.
waters. Yeah.
So, Barry, Jay, do you have an all-time favorite film?
I would have to say Godfather 1 and 2, and really it's a toss-up on which one I like more. Because first of all the acting is wonderful in it. The scripts are wonderful. The directing and the production values, the whole brown sepia tone things. I mean, they just take you there. They bring you into that world. And I love those two films. 3, not so much, but 1 and 2, absolutely.
Everyone says that. Why? I've seen the first one, and everyone's like, "You need to see the second one." I'm like, I've done.
No, the second one. To a lot of people, the second one is better than the first. The only thing it really lacks is not having Marlon Brando.
Got it. What happened to the third to have it fall off so much?
Well, you don't have Robert Duvall for one thing. Robert Duvall is not in the movie, and I think that was a. Listen, I'm not a critic. It's just that to me, it's 1 and 2. That's all.
Okay.
It's 1 and 2.
Ian wants to know
Yes.
what is one of your most favorite roles, or the favorite role that you have done on theater or on television, film, that sticks out with you over the years?
I really enjoyed playing Joe Maxwell on Beauty and the Beast. I really enjoyed that. But working with Linda Hamilton, all these fine directors that I worked with over there, Ron Koslow's writing, and George R.R. Martin's writing.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, we had a lot of nice writers on that show. We had. I'll think of their names in a moment.
No, that one wrapped too soon. I don't think Linda was in the second season.
It was Linda. It was in the first and second season, and then the third season.
Oh, got it.
Was Joe Anderson.
Got it.
Anderson.
That's right. Yeah. That show could have really had legs. And it was one of those earlier kind of like supernatural ish series that
fantasy something. Yeah, really good though. I really enjoyed playing that, and there are small roles that I've played over the years that I've really enjoyed. I thought David Milch wrote some great episodes for me on NYPD Blue that I was very happy with. So, yeah.
Akos Thomas Navaki, and we're gonna be patient with you here. What were the instructions, if any that you remember, to play the emotional range of the Goa'uld possessed host, like particularly while you were strapped to that table, and then after just going through rampage through the SGC?
There was one part where I remember being, and I don't know whether this is in the first or the second. I think it's in the second, meaning the show after the pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. And where I'm kind of walking up the ramp to the Stargate, and I'm standing with my hands out as if being pulled in. And the director said, "What's that? What are you doing?" I said, "Well, wouldn't it be pulling me? Wouldn't there?" He goes, "Yeah, I like it. Leave it. Leave it." So was there any specific direction? No, I don't think so. I think a director's job is to guide you. I don't think a director's job is to necessarily give you direction on every single move you make. I think it's up to the actor to create that. And if the director sees you going in the wrong direction of not his vision, then I think it's his job to put you back on track.
Okay.
I think that's what a good director does.
Brickatect fan wanted to know, what your favorite episode was that you got to appear in.
Oh, the second one after
Yeah.
the pilot. Yeah, the writing was sensational, and I really had a good time with it. And I mean, you wouldn't know it by watching it, but I did actually have a very good time. It was all the pain and suffering was fun.
Well, especially, I mean, if you're surrounded by people who you trust at that point, you know, you've already been thrown through the trenches, as it were, out in the GVRD and get all that other stuff done. So
Yeah, and I got to shoot that saw gun, which was incredible. I love that. Oh my gosh! And they said, I remember Michael Greenberg saying, "You're going to shoot that." And I said, "Really, really?" So it was, yeah, that was nice.
was that all in one trip in Vancouver, or did you head back down to?
Oh goodness, no, that was up and back and up and back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I was an international flyer there for a while.
accumulate those points.
You got it. You got it.
Marcia Middleton. Hello, Marcia.
Hi, Marcia.
As a fellow New Yorker, I adore your accent. Have you had to alter your accent for other roles or just for fun?
I have an accent? Yes. Let me see. There are times that I have to clean it up. There are times definitely that I have to clean it up, and people, bless you. There are times when a director or producer, I'd be in a room auditioning, and they'd say, "Can you take it out of New York?" And I said, "Yeah, sure," because we're doing Richard III, not Richard of Third Avenue. So if we can just take it out of New York, that would be great. Anyway.
Oh, that's funny, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I clean it up when I have to, but I don't like to because it's me and it's what I do, and
That's exactly right. There's a certain, I had some friends over yesterday who were they brought in some friends, and as soon as they walked in, it was like the New York accent. It's very, very clear. Like you're going to get people who speak their mind, good, straight to the point. No BS.
Yep.
And there's something refreshing about New Yorkers, man. I've always loved that. So
we don't dislike anyone, but don't play games with us. Let's just go. Let's get to the point. I don't know how much of a New Yorker I am now, because I've lived out here for, oh my God, I've been out here for 37 years or something.
How often do you, well, before COVID, how often did you go home?
Well, I have my brother and sister still live back there. My sister still lives in our hometown. She owns the house that we were raised in. And then my brother, she's in Mahopac. And then my brother is in a town called Pleasant Valley, just outside of Poughkeepsie, a little bit north of my sister. So, and the question was, how often do I get back? Even before COVID. Once a year. Safe to say once a year. That's enough.
Does it, Burned Bacchus, does it ever feel strange to play different characters on the same series, like Matlock or Murder, She Wrote? Or are you just coming in and doing a job?
Well, you have to understand you're a guest. When you get hired to do an episode, I'm thinking one episode, and I've been hired to play many. But when you're coming, you're a guest. You're a guest. You know that in 8 more days, you don't have a job anymore. So you come in, you be professional, you show up on time, sober, you know your lines, and you never hold up production. And again, if the director sees you swerving, taking a hard left or a hard right, he's going to say, no, let's bring it over here, because this is where we're headed. This is the objective, and let's go with that. And you go, okay, great. I was just trying something. Well, okay, great. I'm glad you tried it. Didn't work. Let's go this way.
How receptive, on average, are directors to that kind of input in testing something, trying something out from an actor?
Okay, good question. And here's something else we have to remember. Directors are guests as well. On episodic television, Directors are guests as well. Now, many shows use the same directors over and over and over. So while I'm shooting, you're prepping. While you're shooting, she's prepping. And so they rotate in and out. And if they have 4 or 5 directors that they constantly use, those people know the Bible to the show. They know the Bible, do's and the don'ts, and all the characters, backgrounds, and histories. So, and to me, that's the smart way to go. To bring in a person after a show's been on the air for 4 years, and to bring in somebody who really doesn't know the show just to direct an episode, you have to be careful, because the backgrounds of those characters and the backgrounds of the show and the Bible of the show is not necessarily known by that person. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's interesting. You have to, everyone has to be conscious of their space and the space of those around them.
Absolutely.
Really. So,
absolutely.
And there has to be, I imagine, a certain comfort level before you're willing to go and try something out on the fly to make the director go, why'd you do that? Well, in the moment it felt like it was appropriate based on what my character was dealing with. So,
as I said to the principal of my high school when I got caught riding a motorcycle in the hallway, it felt like the right thing to do at the time.
Did you really do that, Jay?
Oh yeah. I was.
Please tell, as a motorcycle rider, please tell this story.
It was on a dare. It was just on a dare.
Oh my God!
It was on a dare, and and I got caught, and I got suspended. And yeah, no, it was horrible. And let's just say that my mother was not impressed, and nor was she happy about the whole thing.
Was this during school hours?
Oh God, yeah. I got in a little trouble once in a while.
Oh my God. There's no way you could have gotten out of that without consequences, man.
It's more, you know what, it's more mischief. It was mischief than it was. I mean, I never hurt anybody, thank goodness.
Right.
But it was fun growing up in our little town. It was fun. We had a good time.
The way that I often look at things, it seems like it stems from something like that situation is, you know what, one way or another, you're giving yourself a story to tell for the rest of your life.
You damn Skippy, man. Yeah.
Oh God. Ziggy asks a follow-up question in regards to intelligent life. Do you believe that we've been visited by intelligent life?
Wow, Ziggy, you got me thinking now. Okay, well, look, there are people that believe that we've been visited. I'm not going to count it out. I'm not going to discount it. I know there are people in Washington, D.C. that probably know a lot more than we know, people in Area 51, and they do their damnedest to keep it away from us and hide it from people. So you have to say to yourself, what the hell are they hiding? If there's nothing to hide, what are they hiding? Why are they so secretive? Why are they being so not forthcoming with this information? There used to be a thing called Freedom Ridge, I think, where you could look down onto Area 51. Well, you can't go up there anymore. There's no more of that property is available for anybody to go on. And if you get caught up there are consequences.
Yeah,
and
the fines are expensive at the least.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Yeah.
And so I just like to say, yes, I do believe that maybe we have been visited once or twice, maybe more. Maybe they walk among us. Who the hell knows, Ziggy? I don't know. I've met some strange people in my life. I don't know about you. And you say to yourself,
Have you seen They Live? I mean, it's pretty come on.
I wonder where that young man came from.
Gategabber says, Jay, you mentioned Richard III. Have you done any Shakespeare? And
No.
if yes,
No.
you have not.
No, nobody's ever going to pay to watch me do Shakespeare. I promise you.
It may be interesting with your accent.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. And yes, I don't mind laughing with people. I just don't want to be laughed at. So it's, I know my limitations. And away we go.
Joe Stallworth, did you learn anything from playing Kawalsky?
Wow.
I know that's deep. Grinding halt there. I know.
Yeah. No. Well, no, it's not a grinding hole. It's just, what do you mean by that? I mean that I learned. I mean, not that I had never shot a gun before. I had shot a gun, but I never shot a gun like that before. A fully automatic, what they call a saw gun, is pretty cool. And
Gotta be careful.
It makes you feel bigger than you are, and makes you feel like you're in a battle, and it's a lot of fun to shoot. So I learned how to shoot that. But did I learn anything? I think I see what he means. No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
Even when you're firing blanks, it's still a dangerous process to be out there. And yes. I imagine at a certain point, if you allow yourself to get sucked into it, you can really feel like you're at war. The intensity of the situation is apparent on some level, especially with the power of what it is that you're holding in front of you.
You have all these things around you to bring the reality to you as an actor. They have cannons going off that create big explosions all around you. You have this big automatic weapon that's kicking brass out the side. Everybody else is shooting around you. You have these, what are they called? The bang sticks that the other, the electronic things that the other.
The staff weapons, the bang sticks.
Thank you. The staff weapons. Thank you. I know there's a lot of fans laughing right now saying he doesn't even know what the hell they are.
That's okay. The bang sticks. I'm keeping that one, Jay.
Well, there you go. Keep your bang stick.
Jeez. Dr. Essex, when you were growing up, was theater something that was respected in your community?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any large theater. We didn't have like an Actors Equity Association theater. We didn't have a theater that was sanctioned by Actors Equity, but you had to go down to Westchester for that, which is the next county down. But was it respected? Yeah, I mean, people went to the theater. They went to Yorktown Theater. They went to smaller theaters around. We had the Mahopac Playhouse, or the Mahopac Farmhouse. It was a big old farm. And I think at one time it was like a Borden's Dairy, which, and inside that they had a theater, and I worked there once for about 4 weeks. But no, I mean, was it taken seriously? No, I think it was more something to do on a Friday or Saturday night. I don't think it was anything like, going down county or going into the city and seeing Broadway or off Broadway or anything like that.
Jay, Brad Wright is trying to get a fourth Stargate series off the ground with MGM. Would you be up for returning? Absolutely.
Tell him you want my number?
I can pass it along.
Yes, I would absolutely be up for it. Sure.
My friend, it is a treat to have you on. I have really been looking forward to this for a while. You are one of the earlier bright spots in this franchise as a guest star, and it was just. You really, I think, set the tone in terms of the caliber of a lot of the people who would bring in. They would bring in as day players and as guest stars, and it's wonderful to have you be a part of.
Thank you, David. It's always a pleasure to be with you and talk to you. And you ask really fun questions, nice, and you have great people. So thank you so very much.
I really appreciate your time, my friend. I'll be in touch with you soon, and you have a great holiday. Okay.
All the best. Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
bye,
man.
Bye.
You
Bye.
take care.
Have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Go shopping. Spend money.
Bye, Jay.
Bye, you guys. Bye.
Take care. Jay Acovone, everyone, on Dial the Gate. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Later today, we have on with us a trivia team. Darren and Ian are joining us at 1 p.m. Pacific time. If you are going to be sticking around for that live program, be sure to have a trivia question ready, because Summer is going to be asking us Summer, the moderator, is going to be in our ears, and you'll be able to hear her as well, asking us some trivia questions as we wrap up that particular segment. Ian, Darren, and I have questions for each other, but your questions are going to help finish off that program and determine who's going to be the new reigning trivia champion. So I hope you stick around for that. Then at 3 p.m. Pacific time, we have Mr. David Nickel, Radek Zelenka. He'll be joining us as well. Before I let you all go, though, I do have some Kawalsky art to show you. This is a guest artist, Fligit Jerome. Let me see here. This is, well, you know what? I'm wrong. This is the wrong one. This is the wedding art. Here we go. The correct art. I was like, this isn't right. This is the wrong art. Guest artist, Elidih, EILIDH 17. This is a widescreen wallpaper that was made from The Enemy Within. Particularly cool. Combination of 2 or 3 different shots from this episode, Jay's biggest show. So if you want to submit your own original artwork, do so at dialthegateshow@gmail.com. And before I let you go, I do have a announcement to make. We will be revealing who won the concept art behind me in the next episode, for the trivia episode, and just starting in about 55 minutes here. The trivia for the month of November, they'll be getting the concept art that is from Tin Man here, and then from The Curse here. I'll be sending that to one lucky fan who submitted trivia for the month of November. But for the month of December, and potentially further on, we're going to see how this works. We're shaking it up a little bit. Dial the Gate has its first sponsor. Dial the Gate has partnered with 3D Tech Pro for the month of December to give you a chance to get your very own desktop Stargate and customized ancient keychain. To enter the win, these items, you need to use a desktop or laptop computer and visit dialthegate.com. Scroll down to submit trivia questions. Your trivia may be used in a future episode of Dial the Gate, either for our monthly trivia night or for a special guest to ask me in a round of trivia. There are 3 slots for trivia, 1 easy, 1 medium, and 1 hard. Only 1 needs to be filled in, but you're more than welcome to submit up to 3. Please note the submission form does not currently work on mobile devices. Your trivia must be received before January 1, 2021. If you're the lucky winner, I'll be notifying you via your email right after the start of the new year to get your address and what word you want for your ancient keychain. And be sure to check out our partner's website for more Stargate-related merchandise at 3dtech.pro. That's all I have for you in this particular episode. We'll be back on in about 55 minutes with trivia, and then 2 hours after that, we will be bringing in Mr. David Nickel to discuss Radek Zelenka in Stargate Atlantis. My name is David Reed. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the other side.